Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
While Michigan stays home, that state down south is back open for business. We're live across the border in Ohio on day one of businesses reopening.
And the battle over the order keeping Michiganders at home plays out in court, and the judge in the case makes it pretty clear what's going to happen next.
Michigan passes another grim milestone, though. 50,000 residents have contracted the coronavirus, and it has taken the lives of 4,825 of our neighbors, getting close to 5,000 lives lost. We're going to begin, though, with Governor Whitmer launching a new effort to get kids back to school safely in the fall.
She's calling it Return to Learn, and a group of experts are coming together to develop a roadmap to reopen schools, and she's promising parents and teachers will have input.
It's crucial that as we think about how this virus can impact our schools in the fall, our students and parents and educators, that they've got input as to what this could look like and what it should look like. So the council will perform outreach to ensure the voice of stakeholders are included in the discussion.
And in an unusual move, the governor began her news conference today with prayers from 4 Michigan faith leaders as the state marked 50,000 cases of the virus. And as the governor plots the state's next moves, the battle over her stay-at-home order played out in court.
Yeah, let's bring in Priya Mann, who's with us live. Priya, the judge dropped a pretty big hint about what's likely to happen here next.
Yeah, that's right, Devin. The judge presiding over this case surmised it could end up in Michigan's Supreme Court. And after what happened in Wisconsin on Wednesday, where the Supreme Court there struck down the stay-at-home order, all eyes are on this brewing legal battle.
This is about her depriving us of the legislative tools that we would otherwise possess to help manage this pandemic.
But the Assistant Solicitor General says Governor Whitmer was left with no choice after Republicans blocked an extension of her executive order.
And that's, I think, part of the absurdity here, Your Honor. There's no dispute that a disaster, an emergency exists, yet the legislature withheld.
Republicans say the laws Governor Whitmer uses to justify her executive orders requires legislative approval.
If the governor could go to the legislature and say, I need an extension, have the legislature decline such an extension, and then nevertheless reinstate the declaration all over again, then the 28-day provision in the Emergency Management Act would be meaningless.
Michigan Court of Claims Judge Cynthia Stevens repeatedly asked for clarity from Assistant Solicitor General Chris Allen.
Your perception is, so long as she perceives, validly or invalidly, that there is an emergent condition, she can terminate one order and start another for as long as she deems appropriate. And the legislature would have no role under the EMA to do anything about it.
No, Your Honor, what I'm saying is validly or invalidly is, I think, the crux of the matter.
Judge Stevens then asked if it would be left up to private citizens to challenge the governor's executive orders.
If the legislature is right, that the governor has this authority, but that they can revoke it from her after 28 days with a mere resolution, that creates its own constitutional problems.
That is probably the worst argument you have. Just real honestly, that one's just not going to go very far with me.
Yeah, the judge wasn't buying that. We expect to hear from Judge Stevens next week. Governor Whitmer's executive order, the current one, expires on May 28th. Reporting from Detroit, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya. A Detroit man, meanwhile, is accused of using the internet to threaten Governor Whitmer and Attorney General Dana Nessel. Prosecutors say 32-year-old Robert Tesh messaged a friend threatening to kill the governor and the AG. Police determined that threat to be credible, so they arrested him at home on April 14th. He's charged with a false report of a threat of terrorism. Today, Mayor Duggan updated Detroit's fight against the virus and introduced a new official to lead the charge.
We've lost another 6 Detroiters to the virus, bringing the city's death toll to more than 1,200. Police Chief James Craig says 314 members of DPD have tested positive since the outbreak began, but only 1 is still hospitalized. And as you said, Devin, the mayor announced Conrad Mallett will be the city's new deputy mayor, a former chief justice of the state Supreme Court and president of Sinai Grace. Mallett will now lead the city's long-term response to the coronavirus.
When you think about the deadly effect on the African American community, I just thought, I want somebody who's qualified to protect the health of Detroiters, ideally somebody who would lead our COVID-19 response for the next year.
Mallet will oversee the city's health department and civil rights department. He starts in a week and a half.
President Trump today highlighting his administration's urgent search for a coronavirus vaccine and doubling down on his projections to have one ready for every American by the end of the year. As Alice Barr reports from Washington, that optimism is not shared by many health experts.
Devin, President Trump today revealed the man who will lead the administration's search for a vaccine. The new czar said development and mass production by January was a difficult but credible objective.
It's the single greatest hope for a return to normal life, a vaccine effective against coronavirus. Today, President Trump unveiling the team behind Operation Warp Speed, a coordinated effort between government agencies and the military to come up with a vaccine by the end of the year.
We'd love to see if we could do it prior to the end of the year. We think we're going to have some very good results coming out very quickly.
The president tapping a former pharmaceutical executive and a four-star general to lead development and distribution nationwide.
A few 100 million doses of vaccine by the end of 2020. And we will do the best we can.
That optimism is at odds with many medical experts who warn of safety issues if we move too fast.
I think we set back planning in this country in a major way by overpromising something that can't happen.
With dozens of different vaccines in development around the world, there are signs of progress. Monkeys responding well in one Oxford University trial.
We're working together with many different countries. And again, we have no ego. We have no ego. Whoever gets it, we think it's great. We're going to work with them.
But even as he revealed the administration's push, President Trump said the country must reopen either way.
Vaccine or no vaccine, we're back.
News today, U.S. retail sales fell more than 16% in April for the largest two-month decline on record, as Democrats vote today on a $3 trillion economic relief package that the president and Senate Republicans have said is dead on arrival.
Back to the vaccine push. Even as several options are being developed, the military is helping lay the groundwork to distribute the life-saving medicine as soon as it's ready to go. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, on Wall Street, stocks into the week up slightly. Dow finishing the day 60 points higher. Both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq posting minimal gains at the end of the week's trading.
Okay, we're pretty sure 48 hours of rain and clouds is enough.
Plenty. Let's get to Ben on this Friday and see if we can get some sun for the weekend. Ben?
Yeah, it's starting to emerge in parts of the area, and we're going to keep it for at least half of the weekend. The other half, we have to discuss that coming up. But let's look at the good stuff right now. 4 Live radar is pushing all that rain out of here. Even those showers that were left over in the north zone have pretty much cleared everything except the southern tip of St. Clair County, and those are moving off to the east. So here's how the rest of the weekend shakes out. Saturday, perfect. 72, seasonably mild, tons of sunshine. We'll see a few extra clouds, though, as we get into the afternoon. Sunday, it could be a repeat of what we just went through on Thursday. A very similar setup. Could be the same amount of rain in some spots. And yes, the thunderstorm potential does look like there could be some strong or possibly severe storms there as well. So a lot to discuss with Sunday, and we'll check in on those 80s, which seem to keep slipping away in that 7-day forecast. More on that in a few minutes, guys.
Got our grasp. All right, Ben. Well, we're still under a stay-at-home order across the border in Ohio. They are getting back to business.
They are. So we wanted to see what life is like for them on day one. Kim DeGiulio is live just across the border in Sylvania tonight. Kim, you'd have to think salons are pretty busy. What have you seen?
Yeah, well, obviously there is a high demand to book appointments at salons, but based on what we saw here in Sylvania, they're still being extra cautious. For example, only letting one client into the salons at a time, other clients waiting in their cars in the parking lot, and that caution is a theme we saw with a lot of businesses that reopened today. Here at the Earth to Oven Bakery and Cafe, customers are excited to be back dining at a restaurant.
Very.
And why?
It's just nice to be able to get something to eat and can be distanced and still enjoy each other's company.
The owner says revenue has been down about 50%.
And so hopefully now we can supplement it with the outdoor eating and then next week the indoor dining.
Indoor eating will also look different.
They're doing some very creative stuff inside.
Yeah.
Did you notice the booths?
I was just starting to look.
The owner's doing that herself. She comes late at night and builds that.
We're building new booths that are 6 foot high.
And there's excitement right next door at Sheer Madness Salon.
Yes, people are desperate,
where appointments are completely booked.
Oh my gosh, all day. I'm here till like 8:30 tonight. I got here at 9 this morning, and then the whole next 2 weeks are like that.
Making time for her previous clients and even gaining some new ones.
From Michigan. I had a lady from Livonia call. She's driving all the way to here because she's afraid that Michigan's not going to open for a while.
And for all of her customers,
everything's different. So where we used to be able to put like 2 and 3 clients together, now they have to be one at a time. And then we all have a mask. If they don't have one, then I provide them one. And then after we're done with the service, then I clean all the area up, and then I wave the next person in.
Also in this little strip mall here, a bar behind me has opened for outdoor service. You can see a few people here enjoying a beverage at a distance. Now, with Michigan's stay-at-home order going until the end of the month, all eyes will be on Ohio to see how their reopening process goes. In Sylvania, I'm Kim DeGiulio, Local 4.
We will be looking. Okay, Kim, we are off and running here on a Friday. Here's Sean Lake.
Many in manufacturing, too afraid to go back to work.
I'm very scared, and it's very heartbreaking.
So what should you do? We have some answers live at 5:30.
Some big changes to this year's Woodward Dream Cruise, what you won't see as the vintage cars roll up and down M1. I'm Hank Winchester with that story tonight.
But first, new concerns about the accuracy of the coronavirus test used on all Detroit police officers and firefighters. What the mayor has to